Time now for an in-depth look at the market news this afternoon, and for that, I'm joined on the line by Mr. Daniel Yu, global strategist at Yuanta Securities. Mr. Yu, thank you as always for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, stocks on Wall Street coming off Easter weekend were mixed on Monday as first quarter earnings started coming out. What's the story in the global markets?
Yes. If you look at the U.S. market, as you said, Dow and S&P was down more than 1%, while Nasdaq showed about 0.5% rise. Clearly, investors are continue to assess the state of economy and the COVID-19, whether it will stabilize in the future. The New York governor have said that the worst may be over if we continue to be smart. That's what he said. In the cases of the U.S., it seems that it climbed quite rapidly towards the end of last week, but in the last 3 days, we've seen a decline of the additional new patient. So clearly, this is putting some good indication for the market movement overall. In terms of the macro side, the oil prices continues to remain at quite low number, despite the overall output cut. The reason for that is because the level of the cut is probably too small relative to the demand decrease that's happening. All in all, that has resulted into pretty much flat U.S. market, but over today, it seems that most of the markets are showing very strong run with the news of the COVID-19 issues are stabilizing somewhat, and also the overall, the China's number coming out is actually better than expected, even though it is declining in terms of the export numbers. If you look at the futures market for U.S., it is moving more than 1% up at this point in time.
Well, Korean stocks were strongly higher today, both the Kospi and the Kosdaq. What was driving those gains?
Yes, if you look at the South Korea's the COVID-19 pandemic issues, it seems to be stabilizing. It have shown less than 30 people of increase that we've seen in the last several days continuously every day. Clearly, this is the lowest number of increase that we're seeing, and people are hoping that this whole issue will stabilize in the future. And also, if you look at the national election status, we will have the National Assembly elections tomorrow. Everybody's hoping that this will put some additional boosting measures for overall economic conditions or the international awareness of the Korea's, well prepared for this the COVID-19 issues, as well as doing much better in terms of the overall economic movement. All being said, we can see that the Kospi has shown very strong run. Today, it was up 1.72%. Kosdaq was up 2.28%. Clearly, this has been quite a rebound from yesterday's decline.
Indeed. Well, the semiconductor market, one of Korea's main products, has been on a path to recovery, but still Korea's export prices last month were the lowest they've been in 3 years. Why is that, and what's your outlook?
Right, as you said, that export prices have dropped from month before in March, and clearly the numbers are one of the lowest. It came at 96.59 last month. It's down by 1.1% from the previous month. Clearly, the concern is because the COVID-19 is putting a dent to the demand that's happening global cases. So clearly that is negative news. However, though, if you look at the overall export numbers, Korea is actually doing quite well relative to other countries. Also, the news that came out from China in terms of the export, the numbers are coming in better than expected. The market expected about 14% decline of the export growth rate, but it actually came in at 6.6% decline, which is much better than expected. Yes, it is declining, but it seems that all these manufacturing powerhouses, including Korea, Taiwan, and China, are all showing numbers relatively better than most of the other countries. Reason for that is because these countries have a very strong manufacturing base, and also with the very low raw material costs, including the oil prices, the overall operating profit margins are coming in better than expected for most of these manufacturing-based economies. So yes, there is a concern about the price decline, but in terms of the volume decline is not as much as people were worried about, and that is clearly bring some good news to the economic growth rate for most of these North Asian countries.
Got it. All right, Mr. Yu, thanks again for sharing your insights today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.